Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. Unbelievable, we're in November now, and it's feeling like fall. The leaves are swirling. It's cool. We might have some snow this week. To that, but don't worry about it. We'll get through what we always do. Another awesome show. We got a show for the legends tonight, but before we get to my awesome guest, got to read these great underwriters. I got some new ones, and then we will commence with the show. So we got AdvancedAutoCar.com in Rockland. Let's see. They have. They give you credit for any cars on all credit for everyone. Cars under $9,000, no problem with their inventory. With their inventory, we got a new one, Paul Cuxtis, Artisan Woodcarver in Situate Harbor. We got Country House Furniture in Cohasset. Let's see, Country House Furniture offers everything for your home in one place: custom upholstery, carpet, wallpaper, and complete design services. We got Jim's Barbershop in Pembroke. We got Plimpton Cycles in Plimpton, great motorcycles and great service. We got Uppercut Salon in Hanover. We got Good Old Dave's Automotive in Hanson on Route 58. We got EJ Auto Body Collision Center in Pembroke. We got South Coast Customs in Auto Body in Hanson. We got Standish Auto Repair in Pembroke, another new one. We got Craft Barbering in Pembroke, and we got Nickerson Auto Body in Kingston. I want to thank you guys so much. Now we will introduce this amazing guest here. This gentleman here, this is a guy from my own hometown, the city of Brockton, Mass. This is Michael Piscatelli. He is he's now a filmmaker. He created an incredible documentary, and we're going to talk to him tonight. And it was so nice to see him. I actually remember him. First of all, Mike, thanks for coming in and being on my show.
Thanks for having me, Harrison.
And having the enthusiasm that you have, and
Love it.
You know, you can't ask for more of an Italian stallion enthusiasm type that you have here going on right now.
The hairy chest, Harrison.
Yeah, under that sweater, I know. I remember. I can just picture it in my mind. But what I remember, this is what I remember. I remember back in the day when you were an 18-year-old athlete. You were a high school wrestler at their academy in Braintree.
Yep.
And you had all the moves and you had the drive. What you needed was a little fire lit under you. So I took care of that. I brought you an exploding wallet once. You remember that?
Thank you very much for that. Yeah, you just scared the hell out of me. But thank you very much for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but you never lost a match after that.
Never.
See, I knew what I was doing.
You needed to do that. That's what I needed in my life.
Exactly. You said someday is payback time. Well, today's the day. Now we're going to pay me back with an awesome account of what you're doing and how you got there, plus a trailer of this new film that you put out called Path to Death.
Maybe, Harrison, because you got here a little bit late, so maybe Chris and I were setting up a little something for you ahead of time.
Oh, that's the payback.
Maybe that's the payback.
Yeah, I hope Chris is a little more mature than we were in those days. No, I'm only kidding. I deserve it, and it's always fun when you have a great joke shop in the area, which is where I got that exploding wall. And that of all the great gags I got was the best one of all. I don't know. I wish I didn't lose it. I think my cleaning lady took it home with her and gave it to her kids to keep them in line.
Did they snap in line?
I haven't read about them in the paper, so probably.
Oh, good. Nicely done.
That is good. But Chris, Mike. So what we're going to do? Chris is the tech guy. You're the guest. We're gonna talk about your situation. Now you're a film director now.
Yeah, I do a little bit of everything.
And you live in Hollywood. You're a guy from our area, but you moved out west to follow a career path, and you found it, and you're doing really well.
Thank you.
Okay. So what I want to know, I know what you were like as a kid because I knew you saw it. Well, I'll put it this way. I knew what you were like as a young man. If you want to go back, what I do with every guest, though, is try to go back to their childhood and find out what they were like as kids, and kind of find out what motivated them to where they're at now. Mm-hmm. So if you want to, let's do that. Let's go back to before I even knew you, when you were little, growing up in Brockton, like I did, and talk about what life was like growing up and how it kind of elevated you to where you are now. And in the meantime, if I have any questions, I'll throw them in there. So go for it.
Well, Dr. Harrison.
Yeah, right.
It all started when, you know what? A quick answer to your question is expression. That's what I've always lived from when I was a child.
Right.
I remember at the bottom of Our Lady of Lourdes Church over there in Brockton.
Corner of West and Torrey Street.
Yep,
that's
right
my neighborhood. There. Still there. I'm still there.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I always drive by there. I always have to go to Brockton.
Okay, I'm on Braemore now, right up the street. I used to live on West Street. That was my grandfather's house.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so believe me, I go by it every day too.
Good. I got to stop in for Mass one day. I do want to check it out again.
Okay.
I haven't been back for a while, but I was a Lion for a Cub Scout production.
Okay.
At the bottom underneath of Our Lady of Lourdes Church, and that hit me when I was a child.
Are you talking about in the basement of the church?
In the basement of the church, where we had CCD
Didn't you know
all the
they
time.
had a basement? That's why we asked these questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where they lock us up.
Okay.
I'm kidding. It's a joke.
Okay.
But we had like a Cub
Catholic
Scouts.
detention, in other words. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I get it.
So that's what it was, and it was just always expression for me. You know, my
Okay.
brother and my sister are always older. I'm the baby of the family.
That's true.
And it just came down to expression, and you know, the artistic things like that, acting, were ways for me to express myself, and
Okay.
that's what I kind of carried over, and it really hasn't changed.
Right, I can see that.
You know, it's just
If anything, it's become more so.
I think it's been more focused now. You know, now I know how to express myself through these art forms, which are with cameras, which are through editing, which are through lighting, and which are through writing things.
Okay.
Anything.
Okay, so all right, now you went. Why did you go to Thayer Academy? What was the? I know you were an athlete. You wrestled there, but was there anything underlying about what you're doing now that was intertwined with your school choice to attend Thayer?
In 6th grade, I had no choice. It was pretty much, you're going, kick.
Okay.
And they boot you out. You know, my sister went to Brockton High for a while.
Okay.
And then I think she went through 2 years of Thayer. I could be making that up. Then Matt went through, I think, 9th grade, maybe 8th grade to senior year. And I went through 6th grade. So I left Hancock Elementary in 5th grade.
You actually went, you mean you didn't even do junior high, you didn't do West
No,
or anything?
I
You
didn't
just
do
went right to
anything.
Thayer from 6th grade?
From 6th grade onwards, I was at Thayer.
Wow, I didn't realize, that's right, it's a 5-year school, isn't it? I mean, you could potentially go from 7 to 12.
6 to 12.
6 to 12,
Yeah, I think
wow.
Matt went from 7 to 12 or 8 to 12, one of those two.
Okay.
Yeah, so I
So
was there for a while.
it was your parents' choice?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, well, how'd you feel about that?
You know what?
I mean, it sounded like it was kind of a push, but it was a good push.
It was a great push. I love Thayer. You know, I love Brockton, but I love Thayer. You know, obviously you think back, and I wish I could stay closer with all my Brockton friends, which
Right.
I thank God for Facebook, because now I can.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You can follow them now, and you can see what they're doing and how
Yep.
they're living, which is great. But you know, Thayer, I got a whole new group of friends, and at that age, you're up for it. You're up for changing your life.
Plus, you get more like a specialized education because Brockton High was a zoo. You know the number of the students we had there.
Yeah, I know there are a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely better when you get a smaller group of kids when you're being educated. So you get more personal attention from the teachers.
That's what it was, and that's what I found. At that time, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I didn't
Your
know
parents knew that.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and I think that's what it was.
Yeah,
And,
okay.
You know, I wasn't getting into football, and the Brockton Boxers are the greatest thing ever. So
Right.
I wasn't getting into football, so I didn't necessarily need that. So
Okay.
you know, Thayer was for me.
Thayer was for you. Okay, so how did this matriculate into a film career? When did this happen?
The film is a good question. You know, out of high school, I'd always loved photography.
Right.
My dad would never let me touch the video cameras, even though he had them. You know, those Betamax where you still had a cord and you had to carry the thing.
Okay.
Over. So he never let me touch
I won't even
that.
ask why he wouldn't let you, but
I don't know either, to be honest with you.
Yeah?
I'd like to know now.
I
But
thought you'd break it.
maybe.
Not on purpose, but you know,
then
never.
again-
Either way, they were expensive, and they still. Yeah.
Yeah, those
now
are-
they're
yeah.
antiques.
Yeah, they're definitely antiques now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're paying you to take them.
Okay.
Now. So yeah, he never let me touch him, but it's just funny doing what I'm doing now.
Right.
Is that I'm the only one that wanted to touch him.
Well,
He
maybe
wouldn't
that was his motive. Maybe that was his hidden agenda for not letting you touch it. Figuring you develop so much of a desire to touch it, you create your own career in filmmaking, and there you are.
That sounds very positive.
That's what I'm thinking. Okay.
You want to be a dentist, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be an actor. What?
Okay.
That's pretty much how it went. But so I followed it, and by it I mean photography.
Right.
So I learned how to, you know, quickly change things. I did that through college.
Are you talking about still photography or
Still
video?
photography.
Okay.
Still photography.
And where did you go to
because-
college?
Chapman University in the city of Orange, California, which is right near
Orange,
Disneyland.
California. Okay.
Yeah.
So you already went. So was that right into college that you went out to California? You went out
Yeah.
west. Okay.
18 years old.
Yeah.
I hightailed it out there because.
It was the year I met you. It was like probably several months later
Yeah.
in the fall of '92.
Well, your brother was my trainer. He was the
Yes,
greatest.
I know.
still-
I was gonna. I mean, I figured you might bring that up. He was the one who actually. I mean, a confession here. It was my brother's training of weight training that made him a champion wrestler. I only brought up the exploding wallet because I had to throw my own 2 cents worth in there.
It was the exploding wallet. I do
Right.
give him all the credit. in the world
Okay,
for that.
thank
It
you.
was, yeah.
I figured you might turn around with that one, but you had to mention my brother because he's a weightlifter from way back. He started working out with the weights I had abandoned, and the next thing you know, he's the strongest kid in the state practically.
Yeah.
And
But he was also the greatest trainer I ever had.
Yeah,
so I have trainers now. I'm like, you're not as good as Evan.
Okay.
It's the craziest thing ever.
I wish he'd get back into training. He'd be great. I don't think he's done it for a while.
He looks like he's still in shape.
Oh, he is in great shape,
Yeah,
but I don't think he's trained anyone in a long time.
Oh, he's got to come up to Hollywood. You both had to come out. Take a family trip out to Hollywood.
Well, he was in Hollywood for a while. He was living, he went to law school out in San Diego, and I went to visit him in 1997, and we actually, we went up to see a Red Sox game in Anaheim, and then we went up to see the Sybil Show being taped in Burbank.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, I mean, whereabouts do you take care of business out in Hollywood? I assume you're out there now, right?
Yeah, I'm grounded right near Universal Studios, so I'm in Studio City, but I travel the world so often that it's basically the world. So basically, it's just a place where I can keep my stuff. Okay,
so you are literally a worldwide filmmaker at this point.
Maybe.
Well,
I get paid to go to the world. I mean,
pay to go to the world and make films.
Yeah, well, reality TV is where I've ended up right now.
Okay.
You know, writing scripts and shorts and this documentary as well is like the side hustle.
Yep.
What pays the bills is reality TVs, and that's what gets me traveling.
Tell me about reality TV. Are you actually a producer of a reality TV show? Is it on national television?
Oh yeah, I've produced a number of them.
Okay.
A number of them are still on.
Can you name a few?
Sure. I landed the plane on American Chopper,
okay.
Which was on Discovery Channel. Oh, Wicked Tuna. What am I talking about? Let me start out with Wicked Tuna.
Okay.
Which is shot up in Gloucester, and I did the first season of that.
Okay.
And in the reality world, we jump around.
Right.
Sometimes, you know, you stay for a while, but you know, I've got this energy where I just have to get different experiences all over the place. Naked and Afraid is one I've done a couple of episodes on. Dick Wolf's Night Watch, which was down in New Orleans and now has spawned off into, they're both live rescue, and the crew is on Live PD now.
Okay.
I don't think that had anything to do with Night Watch. I think Live PD is the offshoot.
Okay.
So, boy, just a bunch.
Okay. Now, in terms of like acting, you've acted in a lot of things too, or not? Have you done more behind-the-scenes stuff, or in front of the camera work, or both?
Both.
What would you say the percentage, the ratio of one to the other is?
In the past decade, I've focused on behind the camera and doing everything behind the camera.
Okay, and before that, you were more in front of it, right?
Yeah, more in front of it, but I also, at 20 years old, to get back to answering that question, you know, I was always doing photography.
You said you liked acting, too, as a kid.
Acting's, for me, the greatest form of expression.
Starting at Our Lady of Lord's Church.
Starting at Our Lady of Lord's Church as a lion.
Yes.
So acting is my greatest form of expression, but music, obviously, is up there. You can pull a heartstring with a guitar. Please, you're right there in the emotions. So I started producing theater up in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to wait for someone to give me a job.
Okay.
So at the same time I was producing theater, I used my still photography skills, and I bought a Canon XL1.
Okay.
Because they were the new prosumer cameras at the time.
And this was when you were 20?
This is when I was 20.
So this was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 25 years ago.
I know.
I had to work out my own age.
May 25th, 1974.
May 25th. Oh, you are so close.
Well,
May 24th.
24th. I thought it was the 25th. Okay, because you know you were a week ahead of Julie, your sister.
Yeah, she's the 29th.
5 years behind, but a week ahead in the date.
Yeah.
Okay, I know she's.
But she's still only 29, though. It's so weird how I just keep getting older, but she gets younger.
Right, I know. Yeah, we all get. Yeah, well, yeah, but you look great, man. 45. Your hair is still funny black.
Yeah, yeah, that's completely real.
Okay. So
totally
I mean, we're gonna take a look at your little documentary,
cool.
a trailer of your documentary, Path of the Deaf, and then we're gonna talk about that and how that came to be, and then we're gonna cover other stuff. So go ahead. Right now we're gonna take a little break. We're gonna watch Mike's documentary. It was about the marathon and post-traumatic stress disorder, and check it out. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. You notice the daffodils are in bloom now, and that is because it's time for the Boston Marathon, the longest running marathon in the world.
Boston has a history that dates to 1897. That means something to everyone who comes here.
Let's get now to Boston. Apparently there's been an explosion at the Boston Marathon.
Twin explosions shatter a celebration, turning a day of joy into a nightmare.
A second explosion goes off, and then another one. Boom!
Cheering stopped. Time stopped. We knew something wasn't right.
I instantly started to cry.
It actually is hard to speak about, but tragedies also produce strength, and that's what Boston Strong is.
The Boston Marathon Daffodil Project is a hope-inspiring, beautifying project that came out of the devastation of the Boston Marathon bombings. Daffodils do bring a smile to most people's faces. People have a special place for flowers in their life. Weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, you name it, a flower can make it there.
This is typical daffodil we send to the US.
What we are going to do is we follow one daffodil bulb from the sandy soil here in Holland across the ocean to the Boston Marathon.
I'm in charge of production and sales, getting the product out to the customers on time and the right quality. It's a lot of work picking up all these daffodils, 2,500 pots.
Time to mark the pot that's going to hold the bulb that we have followed from Amsterdam.
Most people think plants just appear. You know, there's a lot that really goes behind it. It is an exact science.
This past year, we grew 20,000 bulbs in 5,000 pots.
There's our mark, there's our daff. We're going to follow that one easily now as it travels into the Boston Marathon.
I did hear someone say, those flowers are so pretty. And I thought, but do you know what they represent?
It's a subliminal message that we care, that there's something beautiful to look forward to, and spring will come again.
That was incredible.
You're incredible.
Thank you. I agree. I'd argue if I could.
Yeah, don't.
All right. Well, talk about how you came to make that documentary and where you're going to be premiering it. I know you mentioned that to me. If you can mention the venues that you're going to be premiering it, that's fine. If not, then it's up to you. But go ahead.
You know, Path of the Daff is a feature-length documentary, 87 minutes, which is following one daffodil bulb from the Netherlands, the soil of the Netherlands, through my brother's greenhouse in Rainham, onto the finish line of the Boston Marathon.
Okay.
Why does this matter? Because nowadays, since 2013, 2014 onwards, the entire course is lined with daffodils.
Okay.
People may not realize this. People may not, you know.
Well, how do they keep them up, like season after season? They just keep maintaining them with water and TLC and all that stuff.
So they get shipped up there in little potted plants
from the Netherlands.
From the Netherlands, they're just little bulbs.
Right.
Yeah, they're little bulbs.
I see what you mean.
And so with my brother, he has this greenhouse.
in Rainham.
And he grows them in potted plants, but then sometimes people take those out and plant them in the ground around Boston or along the route as well, so those are still growing.
All the way from Hopkinton to the finish line?
From Hopkinton to 26.2 miles, all the way.
Okay.
So you'll find them all over the place.
Yep.
And, you know, they are a symbol themselves of hope, of inspiration, of spring coming again, and of goodness coming again.
And also of how do you say, people's ability to hang tough when the going goes bad, in the case like the marathon bombing. I know.
Yeah,
okay.
It's finding your way to move on. And this is why we deal with PTSD, because the bulb, the daffodil itself, is simply the symbol of the documentary itself, as it's a symbol of hope. Because what we do is we can't tell the story of the daffodil if we don't tell the story of the people who encountered the daffodil.
Okay.
So it's their stories, and everyone was affected.
Right.
You know, I was in Santa Monica, California at the time.
Yep.
I was infected in my own little way, so people of Boston have it been much more affected than I have, obviously.
Obviously,
and I'm not talking about the people that were physically affected right off the bat. I'm talking about the other folks who were there and saw it and experienced it in that way, and just tend to, you know, keep their feelings a little bit more close to themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously had a traumatic effect on everybody.
Yeah, and it really did. And it really did have a traumatic effect on the world, you know, and that's part of what I'm trying to show as well, is that this did affect more people as well, and that we were all in this together. Obviously, more people are affected directly. But how do you move on from this type of trauma? And it's finding a purpose in life. And this documentary is about this community of people, not just a group, but a large community of Boston that finds their purpose now, at least in one way, by planting these daffodils. And this is what blooms every spring.
Okay. And then I didn't realize your brother Matt lives in Rainham and he grows them there?
Yeah, so Matt was actually there in 2013. He was within 60 seconds.
Was he running it?
No.
What was he doing there? Just a spectator?
He was a spectator.
Wow.
He does what a lot of people do. You know, finish line is his spot.
Yeah, yeah.
He always stops at that spot right by Marathon Sports,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he hangs out at the Charles Mark Hotel.
Okay.
Which is, you know, a couple doors down. So
Right.
he had just gone to the finish line, sat down for his first beer, and the first bomb went off.
So he was, I mean, how close was he to it actually hitting?
Well, he was 60 feet away physically, but then again, he was inside at the time.
You're right, everything happened outside.
Everything happened outside in front of Marathon Sports, but he went out there with his camera.
Yeah.
So we have his footage,
Wow.
personal footage, which is what makes this documentary personal. Matt, in a roundabout way, now grows these daffodils because he's a businessman and
Yeah.
he helped rebuild Olson's greenhouse in Rainham, Massachusetts.
Okay.
He rebuilt it as a businessman.
Is that on Route 138?
Oh, God. Yeah, I want to say yes.
Well, that's okay if you're not sure.
Yeah, it's like right off of it.
Is he right? Okay.
I see it on a map. Like
yeah, I know. I know.
But it's right. But it's a big one.
Right.
Olson's greenhouses, and so in a roundabout way, the first grower was not able to grow all of them, and we're talking 50,000 daffodils. We're talking about a lot of daffodils.
Okay.
So he brought Olson's in.
Okay.
And when Matt found out that they were actually for the marathon itself, not really knowing that they planted these daffodils, it became more personal because he was there, because now he grows this, and now it's a charity event.
Yeah.
And it's meaningful to Boston.
Well, sure is. Okay, that's great. I mean, you know, again, it was a unique take on it, and I got to tell you, speaking for myself, I could have possibly been an extra in Patriots Day. I declined because, quite frankly, you know, as important as it is to relate, you know, keep people reminded of what went down, I don't want to give too much notoriety to the scumbags that did this.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's still what's going on. The guy, you know, the Sanioffs. I mean, I know this sounds disgusting, but there are still girls out there that want to have Sanioff's baby. I know that's sick, but that's true.
Yeah.
They don't care what he did. They think he's cute, you know, because he's, I mean, you know what I mean.
I definitely do.
Right. So, and I understand. So it's very important to get the message out there. But it's just, to me, I mean, it's just my own person. Just this is my opinion of trying not to give, you know, the scumbags of the earth too much more than the 15 minutes of infamy that they so sought out at the first place to make to heroize them in a way. I guess there's no...
Make a hero out of them. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Right, exactly.
That's terrible.
For lack of a better word, I don't know if that's a word, but...
No, it works for me.
I understand, right.
It. Yeah. We'll put it in Webster's now. We'll call
of course, okay.
The thing is that, you know, I looked at... First and foremost, I knew I was going to be doing this for free. I didn't get paid for this.
Right, okay.
And instead of... I did donate to the one fund, but I found I could do something to give back to my own city. I only did this for my brother, and I did this for my city.
Okay.
You know, my brother because I love him, of course, and my city because I love it as well.
There you go.
So rather than just the one fund, I was able to give back through this documentary and show the community in a different light.
Right.
Because we all know Mark Wahlberg did this. We all know that Jake Gyllenhaal did this. You know, CNN did this. HBO did this. But they all took different ways with it.
They made money, you didn't.
Well, that's definite as well.
Okay.
They had a crew, I didn't.
Yeah.
You know, they had post, I didn't.
Okay.
But the thing is that I wanted to show the community, because Diane Valley came up with the daffodils themselves, and she kept saying this is a community event, and I didn't necessarily understand until I actually was there and saw it and filmed it. And I went, "You're completely right. The community is expressing themselves, whether it's the love for the city, whether it's them working out their own internal emotions about it."
Yeah.
But it's a community event, and I wanted to focus on that.
Okay, sure. No, I know you didn't glorify any of the scumbags.
No.
I know that. No, I know you didn't.
And I was handed people as well. You know, everyone comes out of the woodwork and says, "Well, you can have this person and this person." I was like, "This is not what this is about. This is about this daffodil bringing the community together."
Right.
So, in a way, we deal with the PTSD of this, and we take the art form of the daffodil as well throughout the ages. And we obviously get into the Boston Marathon itself and the history, but we show why Boston is good and why Boston is strong, and why Boston Strong is actually a term that is a viable term for this community.
It totally is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome, Mike. Now, just a quick question. Where in the world have you traveled to do your work? And then we're going to wrap the show up.
Oh,
just give us a ballpark.
Okay, let me see. I can backtrack.
Just name continents, whatever.
Oh, it's just all continents. I was down in Tasmania shooting a Discovery show, literally close to End of the World, Tasmania.
Okay.
I was in. I did a Facebook Live show, but I had to jump off of that one. But I was supposed to be one of the first people outside of the tribe itself to find the lost city of gold. It's actually what the last Indiana Jones was based on.
Okay.
They were looking for Akakor, and they kind of changed the name. So I was on this adventure down in South America.
Yep.
I've been in a couple of adventures in South America. Rainforest. I was dying in a rainforest while shooting a Discovery show.
You were?
In Honduras. Yeah,
Okay.
I was in Honduras. We had to go
Of thirst?
What's it?
Of thirst?
No. We had to try to extract this person at midnight, and since I'm the leader of the team, we went into this jungle at midnight in a downpour. You know, you're walking on mud like this, trying not to slip off into the rocks below. But I was grabbing onto one of the limbs, and I had my machete. One of the times, I know I had a blister.
Wow.
So what happened is, I think some feces or some urine from an animal got into my blood system, and it took a couple of days, but I got leptospirosis, which is what's happening in Puerto Rico. So basically, this bacteria was growing in my liver and shutting down my kidneys.
Okay. Wow.
So when I had an IV in my arm, you know, with a rusty nail IV coming in there trying to save my life, which they did, of course. But,
yeah, that's incredible. So basically, your occupation can have its pitfalls too.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but it definitely
it's a lot of fun. But you know, there are, you know, like everything else, it's not risk free.
Not risk-free.
Okay.
What they're doing on TV, we're actually living behind the scenes as well.
And I take it you've done work all over the country as well.
Definitely all over the country. I've lived all over the country.
Done for work and for filming and stuff.
Yeah, Dallas a lot. You know, New Orleans, obviously Massachusetts here, Middle America. Oh God, everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, guess what? We're down to the final 5 minutes of the show.
Nice.
So what I want, like I said at the beginning, what I want you to do is give shouts out to people. They're going to see it, give credit to people. I'd love to, you know, I would love to also meet some of your friends, other fellow producers, film. I just one other question. Do you do acting at all anymore?
I don't really do acting that much anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, I found waiting for people to cast me or hand me things. I'm a doer. I just you promote stuff, you create stuff. Yeah.
And you're on the back end of it, but you make it happen.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So go ahead. Give some shouts out, and then we'll wrap the show up.
First and foremost, I have to thank my mother.
Meredith.
Exactly, Meredith. Ma, thank you, love you for being with us.
Thank you for having them, Meredith.
Mainly for being on the journey right now. This is my main thanks, obviously, for life, but for being on the journey of the path of the Daff as well, for helping me out. Obviously, my brother, thank you so much for bringing this to me and for us doing this together, because this was about family in the end. Everybody who jumped in to help out. I know we have limited time, but you know, Nathan, Marika, MJ, it's just everybody who jumped in to help out. Thank you so much for doing that on Path of the Daff, and that's it for the Path of the Daff, folks.
Okay. Anyone else, anyone, your cronies in LA, or how old that you want to talk to, say hi to?
Those people. Come on.
I don't know. It's up to you.
All my friends out there. You guys got to come out here when you have time in Massachusetts.
Do my show.
You have to do Topic Time with Harrison, because you will have a ball.
And I go if I could.
Yeah. You can't.
That's right.
So come on down, and you guys will have a blast.
Okay. Yeah. So have you ever? I'm just wondering, any of the big stars you've ever worked with out in Hollywood that you can name, just off the top of your head?
Worked with or partied with?
Well, either. I mean, parted with. I'm talking about maybe produced films with, produced material.
Since I'm doing reality TV.
It's reality TV. It's not as likely that you're going to work with.
Not big stars. I've partied with bigger stars who I don't really want to name right now, especially partying. But you know, with some like Paul Jr., he's wonderful. He's down in New York, and he was American Chopper. But God, he's who else? I don't even know. You asked me that question. I don't know
worry
anymore.
About it. So just one last question before we wrap it up. Where is the closest premiere going to be for Path of the Daff? You mentioned to me before. Now you mentioned it out there to the world.
So our Boston premiere is the Arlington Film Festival, November 7th. I know
that's tomorrow.
That is tomorrow. So you're going to see this a little bit later, but at least it's going to be premiering in Boston.
In Boston?
At the Capitol Theater in Arlington.
Arlington, Mass.
Arlington, Mass. Next week, we are going to, and please come down if you guys are watching this in Texas, Fort Worth, Texas. Bill Paxton has a film festival called the Lone Star Film Festival. We're fortunate to be in that festival. I believe it's November 15th at 1 p.m. in downtown Fort Worth. And from there, we're looking at more film festivals and distribution internationally right now.
You'll keep us posted as we go.
Definitely.
Okay, Mike, you're a great guest. I hope you had fun with me tonight.
I had a ball with you. Come on, you kidding me?
Well, you seem like you could have fun You seem like you had fun in the morgue.
Yeah, but especially here with you. I'm having more fun.
I'll take the credit. All right, folks. Thanks for watching Top of Time. More episodes to follow. See you next time. Take care. Bingo.